Good morning, good afternoon, hum community. My name is Dr. Eileen, and I am one of the mental health practitioners that co-facilitates groups and does private sessions with some of our clients, pre and post dates. And I co-facilitate the conscious dating group that will be meeting this Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. If you are interested, feel free to join the website and register, and we'd love to see you. We've been talking about communication for the last several weeks, and today I'm going to be talking about clarity and communication. And so good communication can actually create clarity because, as we talked about a few weeks ago, communication includes the inner dialogue, the narrative that you have within yourself. And when you get really clear about the ways that your body and your nervous system communicate with you, it becomes easier to get clarity about a lot of things, especially the dating adventure. So as we think about clarity, achieving clarity, let's also integrate the ideas of fairness, equanimity, reciprocity, balance. Think about the even exchange of energy with another person, and if that's present, then clarity is going to be a lot easier to achieve, right? But if there's a lack of fairness, and you know, a lot of you email us, a lot of you have let us know that in relationships, you are the one who tends to overdo. You plan the dates, you really give a lot, you show up in your dating experience, and a lot of the time it feels like it's one-sided. And some of you have said that this is kind of a pattern. Hello to those of you joining. Thank you for being here. Some of you have said this is a pattern, and that you notice that in most relationships, you're more the giver, you're more the doer. And so as we're exploring the concept of clarity, let's see what we can do to clear that pattern and maybe change that cycle so that there's balance, equanimity, reciprocity in the relationships that you engage in, especially your dating experience. So I'm going to start with a couple of questions that came from some of our participants. The first question is, if I was emailing with someone and then we never aligned on a time to meet and the conversation dwindled, but I'm still interested in starting it up, should I make contact with them if I still want to meet this person when it kind of faded? So that's one of the questions we're going to look at. Another question that came up is, shouldn't finding a soulmate be easy if I've done my work to heal myself? What a big question. So we're going to look into that as well. So clarity is a pathway, and it sheds light on experiences. Clarity can give us insight about past experiences. It helps with integration about what just occurred. Say, for example, you just had a date or you just had an experience with your boss that was a little awkward. What are the lessons that you learned from that experience? Clarity provides direction about the next steps or future goals. It anchors our values and our core truth. And clarity can birth empathy for yourself and for others. So like in a new unit of time, when you've had an opportunity to really think about things and connect the dots and put the puzzle pieces together and really integrate your truth. Like, what did I feel? And let's think about that. There are times we have experiences that they jolt us, right? And they leave us with questions. We're not always clear, even in the moment, even when in real time we were exchanging energy, we were having the conversation, we were right there, we were part of the experience. But sometimes it can take us a few moments or a few days or a few, whatever it is, few hours, sometimes a few months to integrate what was that. We're not always clear. So as we think about clarity, let's remember we communicate with ourselves. The nervous system speaks to us. Sometimes there's somatic symptoms. You know, it could be headache, stomach ache, sweaty palms, anything, dizziness. There could be any number of symptoms that it's your body and your nervous system trying to get a message to you. So you want to get clarity within yourself first and really be clear about what your truth is. That definitely helps us as we're communicating with others. Clarity also helps us rule out what is not helpful and what is useful versus what is not, what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. So as we're communicating with ourselves, as we're communicating with others, clarity really acts as a bridge, and it begins to help us decide, like in the hum experience, is this someone I actually want to continue to date? Is this someone that I think can match my energy? Do they deserve to experience me based on the effort that they're putting in or not putting in? So as we are trying to get clarity, let's think about these questions. These are some questions that we can ask ourselves. They're clarifying questions that we can ask in any situation that appears to be unclear. Number one, does the experience feel light or does it feel heavy? We talked about that a few weeks ago as well, what light energy is versus what's heavy, dense, anxiety provoking, makes you feel pressured, makes you feel stressed out. If the experience is making you feel heavy to some degree, although you may not have all the answers, there's some clarity that's starting to surface. You know that this is feeling a bit intense. It's feeling heavy, so it's probably affecting your nervous system in a certain way. A second question, is this situation creating curiosity or am I resistant to it? So, back to that first question that one of our participants had emailed, if I was emailing with someone and then we never aligned on a date to meet and then, communication just sort of dwindled off, but I'm still interested. Should I continue to try? Should I back off? What should I do? Well, are you curious? Do you want to continue investing? Do you want to see where this might go? Or are you noticing you're resistant to it? You're annoyed, you're frustrated, this is uncomfortable, you feel like it's a waste of time. Pay attention to that. You don't have to fit square pegs in round holes. Remember, we've talked about how the dating experience should be light. We want it to be fun. We want it to be something that actually creates a sense of wellness, not this heaviness that stresses us out. And hi everyone, thank you for joining. So a third question for us to ask ourselves, we're talking about clarifying questions for us to get clarity in situations that are unclear. Are there any somatic symptoms associated with this situation or the person? In other words, where is it affecting you in your body? Are you noticing a reaction? Is your heart beating really fast? And if it is beating really fast, or you feel butterflies in your stomach, are they the good kind of butterflies that makes you excited? You're feeling stimulated? Is it that good energy, that positive nervous energy? Or does it feel like dread? Is it pulling you down? Is it sinking you down? Is it making you feel badly? Or is it triggering old experiences or old memories in a way that's not comfortable for you? So notice the somatic symptoms. So pay attention to those. So again, is it light or is it heavy? Are you curious or are you resistant? Where are you feeling the somatic symptoms, if any, in your body? Question number 4 for clarifying. Do I want to engage or do I notice avoidance? And whatever your response is to that, honor it. Because the communication that we experience within ourselves, it's multidynamic. We talked about this. It's eye language, it's body language, it's nervous system, it's somatic symptoms, there's conscious, there's subconscious, there's pheromones. There's so many different ways that our body and brain are communicating with us, the person, as well as with each other. And we want to learn to really align and be clear about that communication exchange within our own being so that we can communicate with others and get clarity first about what aligns with our values, what works for us and what doesn't. When you're clear about what works for you and what doesn't, where your values are versus what is not in alignment, it makes it a lot easier to begin to connect the dots as far as what others are doing and what others are saying and how we feel about that. Number 5, clarifying questions. Do I feel grounded? And if not, what can I do to feel more anchored? Question 6, what would provide some relief right now to help me get clear? So, for example, relief might be a direct conversation with your boss, with a partner, with a family member, maybe a direct conversation with yourself if you've been procrastinating, really dealing with something. You might want to create a pros and cons list so that you can get clear about what might bring a little bit of relief right now. Sometimes it's physical exercise, it can be music, it can be dancing out the feelings, socializing with your tribe. There are any number of interventions that you can employ to help you really decide, what's going to help me get clarity. I need relief. This feels too intense. It's too heavy. There's too many things I don't know. I'm having trouble navigating this. Well, step back. What would give you a little bit of relief right now? Maybe it's a cup of water. Maybe it's a meal. Maybe it's a walk around the block. Give yourself a little bit of relief. It's interesting how giving ourselves just a little bit of relief from the intensity of whatever the situation is, that in and of itself alleviates enough stress, because it suggests to the brain and to the nervous system that solutions are available. Okay, so you're in a situation, you're trying to navigate something with maybe a potential partner, you're on a date, something's feeling off, you're not clear. Do they like me? Do they not like me? Do they actually want another date? Should I kiss them? All these questions, it's not exactly clear. Well, what would give you a little bit of relief right then and there in that moment, even though you don't have the answers? Maybe you say some affirmations in your head. Maybe you deep breathe. Maybe you crack a joke within yourself or crack a joke with your partner. What can lighten the moment? What can bring a little bit, just a teeny weeny bit of relief to this intense situation where things are unclear in the moment? That jolts the brain back into focus. It calms the nervous system, and it suggests to your entire being, solutions are available. I may not know the answer right now, but I will get it. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a break right now. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to say an affirmation. I'm going to crack a joke. I'm going to say something like, I am fantastic. I'm grounded. I'm strong. I'm intelligent. Okay? Anything that can give you just a little bit of relief. Accessing those forms of relief can be very helpful in assisting you in getting clear. Now, sometimes evaluating yourself and your situation through a new lens in a new unit of time will help you, recognize what is it that I'm really truly feeling, and also what is it that I truly want. And sometimes discovering what you want is by looking at what you don't want. Not to be negative, but when you're in a situation and you're trying to get clarity, well, we can make our pros and cons list. And if the cons list is longer than the pros, or if the negatives to the situation, in other words, it's so heavy, I feel resistant, I'm avoidant, I'm not really that curious, I'm not that invested, I feel like I'm working harder than they are, I feel like I'm doing more, I don't feel like they're matching my energy. Well, all of those things are things you don't want, right? Those are experiences you don't want. That in and of itself is creating clarity. So clarity can come in any number of ways. Somatic symptoms. What is the nervous system saying? What's the inner dialogue that you're experiencing? When you give yourself a little bit of relief from the situation, do you want to continue in that, or do you find that you're avoidant, you're resistant? And what are the things you don't want? Because the things you don't want, the opposites, bring you clarity. So in other words, recognizing what you don't want in situations that are unclear, thinking about the opposite gives you clarity. Is this situation giving you the opposite of what you don't want? And if the answer is no, well, then you're getting clarity, aren't you? You're getting clarity that this particular situation, this person, maybe it's just this moment. Maybe we're going to be able to have a second date or a third date and we'll be fine. But in this moment, There's some things showing up that aren't feeling so great to my nervous system. There's a lot of things that I'm realizing I don't want because they make me uncomfortable, or they make me feel ungrounded, or I'm not feeling seen, I'm not feeling witnessed, I'm not feeling validated, I'm not feeling heard. These aren't things I want. Clarity. Clarity. This may not be my person. So giving yourself permission to acknowledge what is stagnant. If it feels stagnant, if it feels heavy, if it feels dry, if it feels like you're in a holding pattern, if it feels like there's no movement, if it feels like there's not, what did I say at the beginning of our talk today? Reciprocity, balance, equanimity, fairness. If it feels like those things are completely absent, then you do have clarity. Those are not aligned with what you actually do want. So back to those two questions that some of our participants have shared. Number one, if I was emailing with someone and then we never aligned on a time to meet, the conversation dwindled, but I am still interested, should I reach out to them? What should I do? Is this even something I should pursue? And so here's what I would say. Be true to yourself. Notice your somatic symptoms. What's your nervous system doing? Are you curious? Does it feel aligned? If it does, go for it. It doesn't matter that it dwindled. It doesn't matter that, maybe that person got busy, you got busy, maybe somebody's shy. There's any number of reasons. Life shows up. If you're still curious, if you're still invested, if you're still excited, go for it. Do it. But be true to yourself. If it doesn't feel aligned, if to reach out first feels uncomfortable, like for example, one of my clients said the other day, she has been dating a woman and she really, really likes this woman. But the thing is, after their dates, which are always great, it kind of dwindles or something will happen. And my client said, so I broke down and I called her, or I broke down and I texted her. It shouldn't feel like you have to break down. It shouldn't feel like there's a standoff and, I'm just going to give in. I just gave in. That's telling you something. If you feel like there's not fairness, if there's not equanimity, then you have some clarity about that. And if that's going to ultimately make you feel badly about yourself, then you're clear that that's probably not a good idea for you. But if it lights you up, if it feels good, if you're still interested, reach out. And you might say something like this. We haven't talked in a week or whatever it is, or 2 weeks or a month. You might say something like, I really enjoyed our initial chat and I would love to get to know you better. Are you available to meet next week on Wednesday, Friday, or Sunday? So since it dwindled and you never actually created a time to meet, now you're going to be slightly more assertive, but not aggressive. You're going to let them know. You're going to be clear. I really enjoyed meeting you. I liked our chat. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Are you available? You're not even going to ask, do you still want to meet? Are you available? Give them a date. Give them a day, give them a time, give them some options. And if they're into it, then they're going to say, hey, yeah, Wednesday works. Or no, I can't do those days, but how about this day? Or I can do Friday, but I only have a limited amount of time. You're going to know if they can match your energy. So if it lights you up initially to reach out to them, go for it. Now, if the person doesn't respond or they continue to be vague, it may be disappointing, right? That's not going to feel so great because you're putting in all this effort. But you will have clarity because you realize that at least currently they're not able to match your energy. In this moment of time, even though you really like this person, you're attracted to them, there's something about them, you feel like it could maybe get off the ground if you guys could just have a date. But they're not able or willing, or whatever's going on with them, they're not able to match your energy, as evidenced by them being vague, as evidenced by them being resistant, distant, silent, ghosting, whatever it is. You were assertive. You weren't passive and you weren't aggressive. You were assertive. You stood in your power. You reached out to this person. You attempted to share energy. And now you can take this skill into your next adventure, head held high, shoulders back, feeling good about the fact that you are assertive and you are strong. Now, remember at the beginning of this talk, I said as we explore clarity and communication, we want to also integrate equanimity, balance, fairness, right? Some of you have shared that you overdo in relationships. You're always the one giving. You're always the one planning. You're always the one creating and cultivating and making sure your partner's okay. You're the one always reaching out. You're the one always doing the affirmations, and you take so much care. You nurture, right? Surprise, surprise. So many of our community members are nurturers, beautiful, compassionate, loving, empathic souls. But as we're moving into this high conscious dating adventure, we also must honor ourselves. We want to love ourselves first so that we can bring that balance, so that we can bring that equanimity. So if the person doesn't respond, they're vague, they ghost, they are resistant, whatever's going on, although that's disappointing, we acknowledge that. But we can also hold our head high and recognize that, I'm sitting in this beautiful power of assertiveness and honoring myself and being true to myself. And I reached out to someone with the pure intent of exchanging energy and seeing where this goes, and they're just not ready or they're not interested, and that's okay. I'm not going to lose anything. I'm not going to, feel badly about myself. I'm going to take this amazing, high vibe, high conscious skill set that I've learned along the way from integrating all these experiences, and I have clarity about who I am. And I have clarity about my own value, and I'm not going to let it dwindle. I'm going to bring that into my next adventure. This person probably isn't my person, or at least right now, they're not able to match my energy, but I'm going to continue to bring all my value and all of my truth into my next dating adventure until I find what is aligned and what is right for me. Okay? So the next question that one of our participants shared is, shouldn't finding a soulmate be easy? If I've done my own work to heal, I've done all this work. Shouldn't it be easy for me to just find someone? Why is it so hard? Wow, what a big question. And first of all, to the person who submitted that question and to all of you, because you wouldn't be participating in a high conscious dating experience if you weren't doing your own work, right? Most of you, if not all of you, are on the path to being the true self, not the false self. You're doing the shadow work. You're healing all of the cycles and the patterns and those things that are not aligned, right? We're releasing that stuff and allowing ourselves in a new unit of time to be a better version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves, not perfection, honest, true, right? People of value. So for those of you that are working on yourselves and healing yourselves, first of all, bravo, okay? And stand in your power and have clarity about the fact that you do the work. Stand in your power and get the clarity, ground and anchor in the clarity that you do the work. That's so, so, so very powerful. Now, to answer that question, okay, I'm going to ask some questions. Think about achieving physical fitness, resculpting your body, healing yourself if you've been sick. Think about, if you want to rearrange your home, if you want to rebuild or plant a garden, or, anytime you want to refurbish, reconstruct something, reinvent something, change careers, implement dreams that you've always had, but you've never done it before. How easy is it? You know what I mean? It's a very interesting question. It's relative to the individual. It's not always easy to create anything that's super meaningful. Powerful things, meaningful things, things that last, things that matter. They're not always easy. Sometimes they are, right? When we find our flow in life, certain things are easier, but some things take time. For example, if we were going to plant an apple tree, we would first have to, do some work with the seed. We'd have to cultivate the seed, and when it sprouts, then we'd have to go and plant it in the ground. It's going to take a while. An oak tree or an apple tree, it's going to take some time before we actually see all that we've planted, all that we've nurtured, all that we've cultivated, right? You've fertilized and you've watered, but it's going to take a while before it sprouts. but there's a lot happening under the surface, and you can rest assured that eventually you're going to have a tree with apples on it. And if you're doing the work to heal yourself, and your intention is to meet a partner or partners that can match your energy, you will find your tribe. Okay, whether that's in friendship or whether that's in love, whether that's the right work environment, you will find your tribe. But if you go into it feeling like it's hard, that's the vibrational set point you're launching from. And that's also the pheromones that are emitting from you. Relationships are hard. Love is hard. Finding a soulmate is hard. We want to change that up, and we want to create more lightness in our approach, because it does affect your nervous system. It does affect your conscious and subconscious approach. It affects your communication. Like, for example, if you think dating is so hard and you always meet the wrong ones and it's never a match, you're going to be communicating from that platform. So let's anchor in the clarity of, I'm doing the work. I'm on the path. I'm grounded and anchored in knowing who I am. Am I perfect? No. Still on the path, learning every day, integrating, but I'm not the same person I used to be. I'm getting better every day, moment by moment. I'm doing the work and I'm getting better. Anchor in that and ground in that. So think about the skill and the precision that it takes to achieve anything that you really, really want to be perfect. Now, I know, perfect is not, that's relative as well, right? Because nothing's ever really perfect, but we can find perfection in the imperfections. You can be perfectly aligned with a human, and yet there's going to be some challenges, because that's part of the human experience. So sometimes we want to shift our unrealistic expectations that even if you find what you consider a soulmate, we probably want to anchor and ground ourselves in the reality of the fact that that doesn't mean that you're going to be completely exempt from some challenges from time to time. Although those people who have experienced soulmates, whether that's a pet or whether that's a boss or whether that's a family member or whether that's a romantic partner, soulmates, when you do find them, from what I've heard, and I have had one, I have had a beautiful soulmate. Unfortunately, he passed away, but I do know the difference between a soulmate and just dating regular people. And this is one of the reasons why I love working with Hum Hum, because they do exist. They are out there, but they're rare. They're rarefied. And you, high conscious, beautiful Hum Hum community, your diamonds, your pearls, your rubies. Something just, I hope that wasn't a spider. I don't know, something just went like this. Anyway, you're rare and you're precious and you're a diamond, and you are just a beautiful, spectacular, evolving being, because you're choosing to do the work and you're choosing to date high consciously. So your person or people are out there, but it's going to take some time sometimes for you to find that person who's equally as precious and valuable as you. But do not get discouraged. Anchor yourself in knowing that you're doing the work. And therefore, the universe, the divine, whatever it is you want to, your ancestors, your higher self, whatever it is you believe in, that's going to match your energy. It's just a matter of time. While you're waiting, hang in there and anchor and ground and be in the clarity that I'm doing the work. I'm a person of value and I'm doing the work. All right. So now I want to talk about establishing a clarification anchor. So we talked about clarifying questions that we can ask ourselves, including checking in with the somatic symptoms that you're having in your body. And we're also talking about love, reciprocity, balance, equanimity, fairness, integrating those things along with the dating adventure, so that as you're communicating, you can get clear as to whether the person is matching your energy, the situation is matching your energy. Are you feeling aligned or are you feeling resistant? Now we're going to talk about a clarification anchor. And this can be a visual imagery exercise if that's helpful for you. So when establishing a clarification anchor, like an anchor of a ship or a grounding cord. You want to remind yourself of who you are. So you would ask yourself, who am I? How do I move through the world? And you might answer, well, I do my best. I have a good work ethic. I show up to the best of my ability. I'm honest. I'm a person of integrity. I'm kind. I'm compassionate. I'm diligent. I'm responsible. So you want to ask yourself who you are, and you ground in that. Breathe. Oh, okay, these are the things that I am. You've got clarity in this moment. Remind yourself of your values. What do you hold dear? I believe in the golden rule. I know karma is real, so I want to create good karma in the world. I want to serve humanity. I'm here to be a value creator. I want to give and have balance. I want equanimity. I don't want to just be a taker. I value environments and situations that honor the planet. Okay, what are your values? Remind yourself of those. You're anchoring. This is all helping you get clarity. Anchor in who you are and what are your values. Remind yourself that you're a person of value. And because you're a person of value and you're on the healing path, you're doing the work, you're choosing to be high vibe and high conscious, you already have an intrinsic ability to recognize your tribe because you're doing the work. You have the ability to recognize beings that shine their light the same way that you do, or similarly to the way you do. So honor, trust. I'm a person of value, therefore I'm able to recognize value. Matched energy, alignment. Remember, you are connected. So you're connected to yourself, brain, body, nervous system, consciousness, subconscious, your spirit. You're connected because you've done the work. And the more work you've done, you're able to heal yourself, you're able to align yourself, you're able to redefine who you are, you're able to align to higher platforms. So remember that you are connected. Remember that. Brain, body, subconscious, conscious, left brain, right brain, okay? Nervous system, cells, organs. You are connected. You're not this disjointed person with parts all over the place that's just unclear, discombobulated, dysregulated. Nope. Give yourself permission to sync up. I'm a whole person. I'm a whole being, and I am connected. Give yourself permission to anchor in the knowing of that so that the clarity can activate. One way or another, you want to have this idea, this thought. One way or another, solutions are available. I can and will figure this situation out. This is a clarifying anchor, a clarity anchor. I'm creating clarity right now. You could say that to yourself. I'm creating clarity right now. You have no idea. You have no clue. The answers aren't there yet, but you tell yourself, I'm creating clarity right now. One way or another, the solutions and the answers are available. One way or another, I am going to connect the dots. One way or another, I will put the puzzle pieces together, and I will be clear, and I will be grounded in the truth of what I discover. Now, when you anchor in the truth that you know right now, what do I know to be true right now? What are my physical symptoms? How am I feeling? How's my heart rate? Am I resistant? Am I into this? Am I not into this? Am I excited about it? Am I avoidant? What do I know to be true in this moment? Who am I? What are my values? What do I believe in? What do I want? Anchor, anchor, because you know the answers to these things. What's my heartbeat doing right now? How am I feeling about this situation right now? I may not know whether they like me. I may not know whether they're falling in love with me, but how am I feeling? Who am I? Oh, I'm a person of value. I'm a person who deserves to be loved. I'm a person who deserves to be witnessed. I'm a person who deserves to be known and seen and understood. Yeah, so the universe is going to match my energy because that's how I show up. That's my truth. Anchor in that, okay? And when you anchor in what you know to be true and you're assertive about it, this establishes a grounding cord or an anchor, like a ship in the ocean. It grounds you. It anchors you. It helps you feel solid. It also acts as a command code to the brain. And when you give your brain command codes, the brain just accepts them as, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Oh, okay, clarity, grounded. I'm a person of value. I'm a person who's working on myself. I'm a person who is getting better and better each moment. I'm stronger than I used to be. I'm integrating every day that I'm a person of value and that I deserve love and that I deserve equanimity and I deserve balance and I deserve fairness. And the brain goes, okay, got it. And sends the message to your nervous system and your pheromones and your organs and your cells. And even if you don't know whether the other is interested in you or feels the same or is falling in love with you, you know who you are, and that in and of itself will create clarity. So that's a clarifying anchor. And again, you can visualize it as an anchor, like you're a ship, you're the ship in the ocean and you're just grounding and anchoring, or you can imagine a grounding cord. And with a grounding cord, you can anchor into anything you want. You can anchor deep into the ground, the earth, the core of the earth. You can imagine the grounding cord going upward and anchoring into the stars or the heavens or the universe, the quantum field, consciousness, your ancestors. You can anchor to trees. You can anchor to plants. You get to anchor to anything you want when you use a grounding cord. Okay, so that's a clarifying anchor. It's all about who are you, what are your values, what do you hold to be true, what do you know to be true about you, and remembering that you are connected. You are not disjointed, you're not dysregulated, you are a whole being. Right and left brain working together, left subconscious and conscious working together, brain and body syncing up, working together. Okay, so remember that and anchor, that's your clarifying anchor. And then what I'd like to do before I close today is a mini brain protocol for clarity. So before I do that, just a reminder, we do have our Conscious State group tomorrow. It's meeting at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. There will be a 20-minute meditation available 20 minutes before the group, and you can sign up for both on our Hum Hum Space website. Hope to see you, and please continue to send us the questions, all these different questions and comments you are sending. They're so amazing because they help us to really navigate the content that we share and what we look at and what topics we explore. So I really, really appreciate you sending in, your questions and your comments. So now we're going to do this mini. And I say mini because when we do a brain reset protocol, that can be a big thing and it can take, 40 minutes or hour or something. But we're going to just do this real quick. Those of you that would like to participate, I invite you to take a nice deep breath. We're just going to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. And you can breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Or in through the nose, out through the mouth, or in through the nose, out through the mouth, and sigh out. Let's just breathe. And we are going to begin by saying out loud, I am rewiring my brain now. So please say, I am rewiring my brain now, and take a nice deep breath. Really inhale, exhale, breathe into the cells, breathe into the organs, breathe into the brain, oxygenate the brain. I am clarifying my thoughts and feelings now. I am clarifying my thoughts and feelings now. Take a nice inhale and exhale. I am anchored and creating clarity regarding, and this is where you're going to fill in the blank. I am anchored and creating clarity regarding, and you might say, my relationship with my partner, my feelings about my job. I am anchored and I am creating clarity regarding the way I should change my diet so that I incorporate new nutrition, whatever it is. I am anchored and creating clarity regarding. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. I give myself permission to feel relief, even if just a little bit. I give myself permission to feel relief, even if for just a little bit. Remember the importance of relief from the tension and the overwhelm and the emotional overload. Just giving yourself a little bit of relief, that in and of itself can create space for clarity to show up. Okay, inhale, exhale. I give myself permission to experience clarity now as new perspective. I give myself permission to experience clarity now as new insight. I give myself permission to experience clarity as self-acceptance. I give myself permission to experience clarity as gratitude. I give myself permission to experience clarity as anything that helps me to feel grounded in my own truth now. Let's take a nice deep inhale. Exhale. 2 more of those, however you like. In through the nose, out through the nose, or in through the nose, out through the mouth, or in through the nose, out through the mouth, really sighing out. Come back to normal breathing. And with a strong, assertive voice, say the words, brain reset. Breathe. With a strong, assertive voice, say the words, clarity, activate. Breathe. With a strong, assertive voice. These are command codes. We're giving them to the brain. Say out loud, nervous system, calm. Breathe. And with a strong, assertive voice, just finally say, done. D-O-N-E, done. Now take 3 nice cleansing breaths. Inhale, release the energy. Let's just clear the unclear. Clear with breath. Just inhale, exhale. 3 cleansing breaths. Release the lack of clarity and the feeling that you don't know and that you don't have the answer. So that was a mini brain protocol for clarity. So we talked earlier about being true to ourselves, bringing balance, equanimity in relationship, and communicating with ourselves by really listening to what the body is saying, paying attention to any somatic symptoms. We talked about establishing a clarification anchor by remembering your truth, your values, what you hold dear, what you know to be true about you because you've done the work. And we just finished today's talk with a mini brain protocol for clarity. I truly hope that this was helpful for you. as we're winding down with this year 2021, I'm wishing all of you the best, and I'm hoping to see you tomorrow in our group or in post or pre-date sessions. And if I do not see you, Happy New Year. So be well, everybody. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a great weekend. Thank you for joining. See you again. Bye.